Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday early evening, June the 13th, 2021. I hope everyone is safe and doing well as possible. I'm hanging in there, and we made it through another week. It's always another miracle to get that milestone behind us, another week. And I'd like to welcome everyone to the show today. This will be my weekly roundup that I'll be putting on YouTube. We'll be looking at methane, sea ice, earthquakes, and climate. So let's start with our NOAA methane data. This is from yesterday, the 12th. This is the 477/469 millibar reading, the Met-1 satellite in the morning. And by the way, I didn't find out yet what the orbits are on these Met-Op satellites. All I know is that there are two of them, Met-Op 1 and Met-Op 2. They're from the Europeans, and they coordinate with NOAA gets data from them for these readings of methane and a whole bunch of other things too. And it's the Met-Op 1 and 2 satellites. They take each one, Met-Op 1 and Met-Op 2 takes 2 readings a day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. So we have 4 readings a day. They're different orbits, that's all I know. So in this Met-Op 1 satellite in the morning, the mean or average was 1912 parts per billion. So this is a high reading here. It's popping up. And the high reading on the range is 2302. Now we do have a lot of missing data here. See all the white area. But we're going to take it. Notice the pinks next to the Antarctic coastline. This is in that high range. And we are seeing methane come up around the coastline in the Antarctic. We looked at that last week, and I'm going to be showing that every week now. And if you would like to have updates during the week, you can join us over on my Subscribe Star page. I do almost daily updates. I used to do daily updates, but I've cut back so I can get some other projects done. And so now I'm doing about 3 or 4 updates during the week. It's almost every day, but I think it's a couple of days I've cut out now. But those are on my Subscribe Star page for my members over there. And so for only $5 a month, you can help support my work and my effort here to help bring you this data that no one else is bringing you, obviously. So here we are in the afternoon. So it says PM, and the mean was 1908. The high reading was 2297. On the Met-Op 2 satellite in the morning, the mean was 1891. The high reading was 2558. So that high reading here, that's popped up. In the afternoon, the mean was 1890. The high reading was 2372. Here's our spreadsheet and chart that we've been working on since March of 2019. Here is the data for the 12th, and it averages out to 1925 parts per billion. That's an increase over the week before of 3.75. So we popped up just above this 1900 mark, and the last time we saw that was when it was coming down after it had peaked out last fall. And here it had peaked out on October 23rd at 1904.25, and then on the 24th it was 1902, and then the next week it was 1898. So that was where it had started going down. So we're already at this level. I don't expect it to be going back down now. I think we're in the season. We're in that season where it's going up now. Now, we're 23 parts per billion higher than we were a year ago. And since March the 1st of 2019, where I started this, we're 43 parts per billion higher. So it's on a steady trend now. And it's, you know, a bunch of this is just baked in the cake. So they can try to cool the earth and do whatever, but you know, like I said, a lot of this is baked in the cake, and it's going to keep going up. What can I say? That's how it is with carbon dioxide, and the Arctic is still warming 2 or 3 times faster than the rest of the planet. So that's, you know, we've got permafrost thawing and all this. So anyway, let's see what it did this week. Here's where I'm tracking it daily. So here on my show last week, we were at 1896.5, and we had gone up 3 parts per billion last week. So on Sunday, it went up 0.5. On Monday, there was no change. On Tuesday, it went up 1.75. On Wednesday, it went down slightly, 0.25. On Thursday, it went up 1.25. Friday, it went up 0.5. And then Saturday, there was no change. So here are the numbers here for daily change, weekly change, and yearly change. So there's that. Before we go to the CAMS data, I'll go ahead and show sulfur dioxide today while we're here. Here we are. This is sulfur dioxide for the globe. And here it is at 500 HPA. The highest reading is right up here in Colombia. This is probably volcano related, but nothing just hugely erupting here. There's that. Now we'll look at the methane data. This is the Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Services website. I have Saturday the 12th loaded up for the Arctic and surface level. Here's our color ledger at the bottom. So the data is for Saturday, so it correlates with what we're seeing at the NOAA level as well. And the forecast period is Sunday through Wednesday. Now I'm a little surprised that we don't have green just covering this whole Arctic area. But we are seeing higher background colors popping up in Russia. And see this wave moving out, this light green wave. And then here in northern Russia, we've got higher background colors, and it is reaching into the highest range, which is from this dark red, reddish brown, is between 2160 and 10,000 parts per billion. We see this color a lot over here in China. So that's a range. We don't know the actual what it is. We see that range also billowing here at Komsomol. It's still billowing since January of last year. Also, it's percolating here in the North Kara Sea. And this dark green is 1920 parts per billion. And then it goes up as it goes green and yellow and red. This bright red is 2100 parts per billion. We're seeing the interior of Alaska coming back to life with methane. This is common in the summertime as things heat up there, and they have a lot of permafrost that's going to be thawing out. So along with Russia having problems with permafrost thawing, Alaska does too with the infrastructure, because permafrost, you think it's going to be permanent, but it obviously is not with all this warming going on. And so when they build the infrastructure, they lay down pipelines and build buildings on the permafrost, and then that thaws, and then the ground changes, it subsides and changes, and so of course that will affect the pipes and the infrastructure, and they're going to have huge problems in the next few years. Huge problems. They're already having problems. Now, here we've got our problem area popping back up here in the North Atlantic. See where my pointer is? Watch here. See, there it is. That's very high reading. Also here in the North Sea and off the coast of Norway, it's popping up. See this wave coming off of Russia up. Now see this light green. That's methane. That's a whole wave coming out. Now we'll go to the North Pole view. I don't know why I'm the only one that does this. I really don't know. It's quite... I mean, it would be nice if some other people would start doing this. I wouldn't feel like I was the only one, but it's anyway. I'll do this as long as I can. So here we have Europe filling up. See the dark, and then the greens coming all the way down into Africa. Here's the Persian Gulf. Here's India. Now, it's not looking as bad as it had been here in India. These dark colors and higher readings are not coming all the way to the tippy point. It's mainly concentrated in the northern part, but it usually gets worse, I think, around the monsoon season, so that'll be coming up. And with China, it's not coming. These dark colors are more inland now instead of all the way down to the coastline. But we have them going all the way up into North China, filling up Korea, Japan. See, Japan is filled up. Then here in North America, it's pretty much solid green and higher from about the middle part of the country east. And see, it's going up into that dark range every day. Big blobs, big huge areas just filled up with it. Also in California, there are really hot spots like Southern California, and then the San Francisco area, also up in the Pacific Northwest around Seattle, that area. Also, I've been following this area in North Dakota. I was noticing that, when was it? A couple of years ago. And they have a lignite coal mine there, and that's always going off. Now let's go down to the Antarctic. And this is quite disturbing. This is the Western Peninsula here. This is along the Brunt ice sheet, or ice shelf along that edge. See the light blue there? And I had a question come in asking from Larry. He was asking if I thought what was coming up around the Antarctic was what was migrating from the northern hemisphere, and I said no, not at this surface level that we're seeing, because this is within 1,000 feet. And so this is, you can see, this is a separate source from what's streaming. And this is actually from the southern hemisphere, where it's streaming off of South America and down. You can see the streams moving across, but you can see the source here is from the surface on this Western Peninsula and around the Brunt ice shelf. And this is the Amory ice shelf. It's coming up there. See? That's a huge area. It's also coming up all let's see, here on this elbow next to Pine Island Glacier. Also down here next to the Ross Sea. See the light blue there? It's pretty amazing to see it coming up here with the sun gone down. And it's almost winter time for them. As soon as we hit our summer solstice, when is it, the 19th or something, it'll be winter solstice for the southern hemisphere. And so the longest, shortest day, anyway, it'll be nighttime. Longest day in the northern hemisphere, shortest day in the southern hemisphere and so on. But it's all dark down here. It's all in the dark. I just find it amazing to see the methane coming up like that. I mean, it's not in the greens range, but it's in these blues range, like 1840, 1860 parts per billion at surface level. And what's the source? I don't know. What's making it release methane? What's heating it up? I don't know. Maybe it's volcanoes. There are a lot of underwater and volcanoes under the Antarctic. They're very active. There's one under Pine Island Glacier that's heating that up. Who knows? There are so many things we don't know. It's a mystery. Here's the global view. Now we can see these light blues now creeping down further south as things are heating up. And here's Australia, and see there's more light blues around Australia. Can make that out now. Here's New Zealand. See, it's streaming off of Africa. See this white spot, it's coming back. This is at Beijing. It's in the Beijing area in China. That means it's higher than the 10,000. See? Right there. Higher than 10,000 parts per billion. Again, we don't know the reading. It's a ballpark. It's a range. Here's 500 HPA, so this is about the same level up in the atmosphere, about halfway up as what we see on NOAA. Look at this high reading over Australia. I don't know if that streamed across the Indian Ocean here, but normally we don't see the reds that far south. They're moving further south. And also here over the Red Sea and Africa, here this is India. We've got high readings here. China, China, and look at this dark cloud moving up off the coast of Russia and moving up. And then we've got reds here on the Pacific and over Canada. You can see these higher readings are migrating further south now as the methane is redistributing around the planet as the seasons change. Here's total column. Let's see, it's highest here at China and India. And see, we've got this reddish cloud. That's the next color up from the bright red. See, that'll be moving across the Pacific next. Now let's move on to sea ice. I took these pictures from Climate Reanalyzer. We'll go through our slideshow. Here is sea ice and snow cover for today. Let's zoom in. See, that's the good thing about taking pictures. You can zoom in where it's hard to zoom in if you're just looking at the website. They don't have that feature. NASA Worldview, you can zoom in, and on the earthquake map you can zoom in, but the others you can't zoom in. So here's what the sea ice is looking like today. We can see melt happening a lot more around the edges here around Greenland, and melting up here in the Baffin Bay. It's also disintegrating more here in the Hudson Bay. Here's Svalbard. Here's Franz Josef Land. See, this is all opened up on this right hand side. And here's Novaya Zemlya. And see, it's opened up even on that east side. Here's the Kara Sea. It's getting thinner. Here's Severnaya Zemlya. Here's the Laptev Sea. See these dark blue, that's open water, and it's opening up. It's melting really fast up here along this Siberia coastline. Also up here by Siberia. Here's the Bering Strait, that's open and melting more around the Alaska coastline. It's breaking up here in the Beaufort Sea. And remember, we watched what was left of the thickest sea ice. We watched it migrate. We followed it during the winter as it migrated down from Canada and Greenland. It moved and shifted down and consolidated here in the Beaufort Sea. So this is the area where the thickest sea ice is left, and it's breaking up. So there we are today. So let's see what it's done this week. Here we were last Sunday for my show. So we'll just go through. Here was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and here's today. And as we go through the summer, you'll see more and more dramatic changes as the ice goes through the melting. Now, this is from the Navy website, U.S. Navy. This is sea ice thickness. This is a computer model. Here we are for today, sea ice thickness in the Arctic, and our color ledger is over here on the right. The dark purple is about 1 meter thick. The bright aqua is about 2 meters thick. The green is about 3 meters thick. The yellow is about 3.75 meters thick. You hear the jets going? I'm on the flight path. I've got the windows open. The bright red is about 4.5 meters thick. The dark red is about 5 meters thick. So mostly we've got the purple and the light purple, and we've got from dark aqua to bright aqua, a little bit of green, and hardly any yellows and thicker. So that's what we've got going into the summer here. Here we are today. Let's start down here at the Hudson Bay. See, this is really thinning out. That's most of that's about less than 1 meter thick there. And here's the Baffin Bay. We've got a fringe around the Greenland coastline here. Here's the nearest strait, and we can see these tributaries are opening up. See, that's opened here. This is part of the Northwest Passage. And then we've got the aqua here, so that's thicker. This will melt though, and this is an exit point for ice. Also, the nearest strait, that's an exit point, and the Fram Strait here on the east side of Greenland is an exit point. And then here in the Beaufort Sea, the gyre goes clockwise and then counterclockwise, back and forth. It shifts every few days, and so it tears the sea ice apart here. And we can see this Canada coastline is clear. Alaska is mostly clear. Here is the Bering Strait, that's open. Here along the Russia coastline, that's open. And here and this area from here all the way over to Severnaya Zemlya. Basically, this is where the East Siberian Arctic shelf is, that's underneath here in the sediments, where Natalia Shukova and Igor Samilikov have done most of their research and found huge pockets of methane stored in the sediments. And so they're worried that as this ice melts and we have more and more ice-free areas, especially in the summertime, that the water heats up, then the sediments heat up, and then the clathrates start melting, and the methane releases into explosive releases that could devastate everything. Because it could heat up the atmosphere so fast that we would have a real problem. So anyway, we've got a lot of open water here in the Laptev Sea already, and then it's thinning. Here's the blue, and then down into purple. So quadrant 1 is really melting, coming apart. Here's quadrant 2. Here's this hole north of the North Pole, that's still there. We've got another hole opening up to the east of that. This is thinning out fast. And then here in quadrant 3, this is the northern edge of Greenland. We've got the thickest ice right around the coastline of Greenland, and here the Canadian archipelago. And this is the Barents Sea, where the North Atlantic comes in, and that's open. Let's see, this whole coastline, it's all open now. Here's the 30-day animation. The data goes back 3 weeks, and the forecast period goes out a week from now. So we can see what it's going to be doing this week. So we'll zoom in and look at this. Also, I do a midweek climate update, usually on Wednesdays. I go through everything. I go through sea ice and everything, and that's on my Subscribe Star channel. So we're seeing, watch here in the Beaufort Sea, watch this ice. Especially in the forecast period, look at the thinning. It goes from a lot of green to the aqua, so that's showing a thinning pretty fast there. I'm going to stop this. Uh-oh. I missed it. We'll do it. We'll go back. Here comes another airplane. Here we are. This is next Sunday. So, see, this is the forecast out to the 20th. This is where they're expecting it to be around then. Here's the Beaufort Sea, the sea ice thickness. Here it is today. Like I said, this is what's left of the thickest sea ice in here, and here it is. It's this green. It's just this portion here, and then we've got a little fringe of thicker ice on the Canada coastline and some green over here. So that's about 3 meters thick on that green. Here we go with the 30-day animation. Okay, here it is for next Sunday, and you can see how a lot of this green has changed to the aqua now. So that'll be thinning. And it's being tossed about too. Here's the Baffin Bay. This is the 30-day animation. This is Greenland on the right, Canada on the left. This is an exit point for the sea ice. And as it's moving out, it's also melting because we have warm water moving in here. Here's the sea surface temperature for the 30-day animation. And here's this water moving in from the Atlantic, and see it's heating up here along this west coast of Greenland. See that? Look at that. That's up to 4°C. Now we'll move down to the Antarctic. We're tracking the refreeze. Here is sea ice thickness for today. So the methane is coming up around here, which is surprising because we've got some of the thicker sea ice there. You wouldn't think there would be methane coming up there, but that's the area right along that coastline. Also on this western peninsula, it's coming up on either side and all around there. down here on this little elbow, here's Pine Island Glacier, and down here, right down here on this elbow, this is next to the Ross Sea, and then over here on the Amory ice sheet. That's where methane's coming up. Here's the 30-day animation. So typically most of the sea ice melts in the summertime for them in the southern hemisphere, and then it refreezes during their winter time. But there are areas around the coastline where it's open water. See, down here. This is next to the Ross Ice Shelf. See, that's open water. See the white? Here in the Weddell Sea. Same thing. And also, look, see the whites? So it doesn't go all the way up to the coastline in those areas. And it doesn't get real thick. The Arctic is considered the air conditioner of the planet, not so much the Antarctic. I mean, it does help cool things, but it mainly is the Arctic. Okay, so that's all of those. Now let's move on. This is from the National Snow and Ice Data Center. This is Sea Ice Index, and they have a bulletin put up here saying sea ice data will be unavailable on Saturday, June 12th and Sunday, June 13th due to system maintenance. Data processing will resume but may be delayed on Monday, June 14th. So the latest data they have up here is for the 10th. So a couple of days ago. This is sea ice concentration in the Arctic. And we can see the blues. The more blue it is, that's where it's melting and coming apart more. So this correlates with what we saw on the Navy website as well. And a lot of open water. See the open water here that's in the Laptev Sea. Here's sea ice extent. Let's zoom in. This blue line is this year, and we've been below all of the other levels. And then this dotted line is 2012, and we're just tied with 2012 right now. We can see 2012, it took a nosedive here. And this gray line, that's the average between 1981 and 2010. And we're way below that. I don't know how you can even compare anymore back that far. I mean, things have changed. It's turned into a whole different ecosystem up there. Things have just changed so much. Now here's the Antarctic. Here we are. Same thing. This is for the 10th. Here's the sea ice extent. The blue line is this year, and see, we've joined the all the lines are converged here with last year and the average, the 1981 to 2010 average. So we're all lined up, all about the same. Now we'll go to the Greenland ice sheet. Same thing, the database, the latest data is from the 10th. So the salmon colors, this is where it's melting today, or from the 10th. So this is not good. This is very disturbing to see all this melt. It's all, see, on this north end and this west side and this huge area down on the southwest edge. And see, this whole area is already, the rock is exposed there. You'll see when we look at NASA Worldview and how fast this ice sheet is melting, and then all along this eastern edge too. So they're in trouble. Here are the cumulative melt days for this year since January 1st. And it goes from light blue and then up through the colors of the rainbow, or backwards through the colors of the rainbow, with the cumulative melt days. Here's the melt extent. No, we can't view that anymore. Uh-oh, I didn't mean to do that. Look at this red line. This is this year, and here's where it spiked in June. It spiked in May, and then it spiked in June. And we got up to, that's about the 12th or 13th percentile of melt extent. The dotted blue line is the median. So that's not in good shape. Now let's move on to Climate Reanalyzer. Here we are with air temperatures for today, maximum, and we can see that the air temperature over the Arctic is, most of it is above freezing now. Now, we had cooling this week, a lot of cooling of the Earth. In fact, it was down below the zero for 2-meter temperature anomaly 1 or 2 days. Here's 2-meter temperature anomaly today. We'd see the browns over the Arctic, or light brown. Here it's really heated up in northern Russia. This is about 18 to 20 C higher than normal. Also on this part of Siberia. And then we've got blues coming down through Canada and the US, and then browns right next to the blues. The jet stream is not holding in the air at all. See the same thing on this eastern side. See the blues coming all the way down, even through India. And then the reds next to that, reds and browns, and then blues from Norway down. And then look at the Antarctic, and it's actually warmed up. It had been at -8 something C, lower than normal, but it's warming back up now. So worldwide, we're in balance right now. See, 0, 0, higher or normal, higher or lower than average. Northern hemisphere is up 0.6 C, The Arctic is up 0.9 C. That's higher than normal. The Antarctic is minus 0.59, so 5.9 C lower than normal. Southern Hemisphere minus 0.5, and the tropics are up 0.3 C. So there's that. Here's precipitation and clouds. Now it's been raining here in the Arctic. Look at it coming up off the coast of Norway all the way up to Novaya Zemlya. Also here in the Laptev Sea, we've been seeing rain off and on this week as well. Here's another atmospheric river coming across the Atlantic. Here's the jet clumps. Let's see, you can see the breaks in the jet stream where that cold air is swooping down. It's escaping. Look at this southern hemisphere. There's no rhyme or reason. We saw sea ice and snow cover. Here's sea surface temperature anomaly for yesterday. And we can see up here by Norway and Murmansk, the Kola Peninsula. See, it's already heating up. And around the coastline, remember we saw the air a lot warmer than normal in this area too. So the sea is heating up here too. And what Natalia and Igor have found is that there are lots and lots of methane reserves here in the Arctic. They don't know how many. So I'm just assuming it's kind of everywhere. And not just in the Arctic, but other places too. It's a fact of life. And whenever we get these really warmer than normal sea surface temperatures, that's going to be heating up the water and heating up the sediment, and then we're going to have methane issues. And here in the Baltic Sea, that's red. See all along Norway. Also, we've got browns up here in the Laptev Sea and here off the coast of Siberia. Look, here's a little spot of brown in the Beaufort Sea too. Here in the Baffin Bay. And then we've got reds off the coast of the U.S. there. Here's the flat view. And see the Mediterranean's heating up. Here's our spot in the North Atlantic, the blob. Worldwide, we're up 0.4 C, higher than normal. Northern Hemisphere and North Pacific are up 0.6 C. The North Atlantic is up 0.4 C. Southern Hemisphere is up 0.3 C. Equatorial Pacific is up 0.1 C. That's all of those. Now we're going to go to NASA Worldview and look at the sea ice. Before we go to the Arctic, I wanted to show, this is the Antarctic. This is today. This is the nighttime layer, and here's the brunt ice sheet or ice shelf. Here is that big piece that broke off right before it went dark down here. And this is the area where the methane is coming up, and we see that dark, that's open water right along the coastline. This is sea ice out here to the left. But see the dark, that's open water. And this is the area where a lot of that methane's coming up. I also wanted to show that iceberg that broke off here in the Weddell Sea. It's right here. And here are two pieces that had broken off. It's moved out from the ice sheet, and it's kind of refrozen here in the sea ice. But I'm going to show you, it's interesting to see what it did this week. Uh-oh, here we are. Had to catch up. Here it was on the 5th. It's kind of hard to see. Some days are not that great on this nighttime layer, but you can see here's the iceberg where it had been along this ice sheet here, and it broke off. These two pieces were down here. They're moving out. Now watch. See, it's moving. See, it's moving out. No good on the 10th. Here it is today. It's trying to move out. Now we've got ice, sea ice around here, so it'll keep it in. But it's on the move. See, there's open water around there, and then this part here is just where the ice is refrozen, but the iceberg is here. I thought that was interesting. Now let's move on to the Arctic. I've got the green marble layer turned on. I mean blue marble. Why did I say green? Blue marble layer turned on, and the sea ice concentration level turned on. This is so we can get an idea of what the sea ice is doing without the clouds. And where you see a lot of colors, that's where it's in high melt. Here's the Hudson Bay. Here's the Baffin Bay. See the dark, that's where it's already opened up. Here on this east coast of Greenland, see, there's the ice, it's melting. Here's Svalbard, this is melting now. Here we've got it opening up here on this east side of the North Pole. Here's Novaya Zemlya, see, it's opened up all the way around the island. Here's the Kara Sea, that's in high melt. And this is also the Kara Sea. This is the Laptev Sea. Here is Severnaya Zemlya. This is Komsomolets, where we're seeing the methane billowing up on CAMS. This is all open here in the Laptev Sea. See the dark? This is open. This is in high melt all along this Siberia coastline. And remember, this is where the East Siberia Arctic shelf is. Here's Bering Strait, that's open. I wanted to show, here is Russia, Sea of Okhotsk, and we'll just have a little fringe of ice left here on this Russia coastline. That's all cleared out. Little fringe here on the Russia coastline. Here's Alaska. We've it's melting here along this Alaska coastline. It's already cleared out along the Canada coastline. Here's the Beaufort Sea. and here's where it's cleared out in these tributaries, and then the different stages of melt that it's in there. Here's Greenland. Here's that hole that we saw on the Navy website, or where it's opening up. Now I'm going to turn that label off. Oh wait, I wanted to show what it's done this week. Here we were last Sunday in my show, so let's let's just click through and see what's happened. So here we are today. So that's, you'll see, it'll be more dramatic by the week as we go through here. Now we'll just, this is just the satellite view now. So let's go in and see what we can see. See the state of the ice. We'll start hearing by Greenland. This is in the Baffin Bay. This is the nearest strait. Let's see if we can see anything here. That's kind of cloud covered. Anyway, it's open here. See, that's clear. See how much this is opened up this week. Here's the Baffin Bay, and it's melting here. This is, we're looking through a cloud. It's just a little fringe of ice up to the coastline here. Now remember, we saw where the melting is. Look, right down here. Look at this area on the southwest edge. Now there's a cloud there. Let's see if we can see it. Look. Look, you can see the ice coming out here. That's where it's coming off of the ice sheet. Yeah, I've worn out my voice. I can only talk so long. See, this is all open here. Here's where it's going to be coming out. So you can see it there. Also here. We're going to be seeing a lot of melt. So this whole side here, this is in high melt right now. So that was the 10th. That was for the 10th on National Snow and Ice Data Center. So let's go. Here's the 10th. See, this is what it looked like when they did their readings. And it was melting up here on the north and on this east side too. So let's go back to today. Now here's the east side. See, that's pretty much gone. It's just pieces. Here's the hole. Here's northern Greenland. We've got clouds here. Here's where the sea ice is really breaking up. See, this eastern side. Here's Svalbard. Here's Franz Josef Land. This is open on this right hand side. Here is Novae Zemlya. Look at this. Look at how much this has opened up this week. See this east side of the island. That's all open. Here is the Kara Sea. And this is in high melt. See the pieces there? Got clouds there. Here's Severnae Zemlya, and that's a weird looking cloud. Here's Komsomolets. Here's where the methane is spewing up. Here's the Vovolov ice cap. Look, let's see if we can see the ice coming down. Not yet. We will as the summer progresses. As the water melts, we'll see the ice flowing into the ocean there. Look at this. So here's the Laptev Sea. Look at all of this. This is open water here. Look at this. This is open. Here's Taimyr, and it's hard to see through all these clouds. Let's go. Look, it's open. This is opened up. Look at that. Here's this ice shelf that's it freezes around the coastline. This will melt. Look at this. Look at these big pieces of ice coming apart. This is in high melt. This is also where we saw the brown on sea surface temperature anomaly. Now here's New Siberian Islands. See, it's open here. Here. Look at this. Let's go back a couple of days. Let's see. Here's a pretty good view. Trying to get a good view without so many clouds. Look at this. This is from the 10th. See, a lot of open water. All those leads have melted there. See, that's coming apart fast. Okay, let's go back. Here we are today. Look at this. Open water. Let's see. See this lead that's opened up, and this is breaking up here. Here's Wrangel Island. See, that's open on that right hand side. Here's the Bering Strait. Now we can't see because the clouds, but this is all open. Look, this is the Chukchi Sea where it's coming in. And here's Alaska. Here's Barrow. Now let's go back a few days and see if we can see this. Well, a lot of clouds this week. Look. That was the 5th. So the ice is up to the coastline along here on Alaska, and then See here, it's open. Look at this. See the sediment? This is open. And look, this is the Beaufort Sea. And there you go. Coming apart. Here we can see. Here's our air conditioner. Here's Ellesmere Island. And we're back to Greenland. So there's our tour. Let's see if we can see this ice north of Greenland. Go back. Too many clouds. Here's this is open, it looks like, on the 9th. No, it's just too many clouds. So there's that. Now we're going to look at earthquakes. It's been quite the week with earthquakes. Let's see, where am I? Okay, I took these pictures late this afternoon. Look at all of this plate movement. Here we are on USGS. This is 369 earthquakes worldwide. We had one right up here in Russia, right next to the Laptev Sea. That was a, what was this? Oh, that was a 4 point something here. We've got a big one down here in the South Atlantic. And this was a 5. See these big dots? These are 5s. Look at all these 4s. Lots of plate movement. And we've got lots of activity going on in Southern California. It's been crazy this week. Here in the lower 48, we've got 247. Southern California is showing 110. And also, this goes down into Baja. The largest is this 3.5 at Ensenada, Baja. Here in the Salton Sea, we've got 92. This has been swarming for a few days here at the south end of the Salton Sea. The largest today is a 3.2 at Westmoreland. Searles Valley Ridgecrest has 12 today. Western Nevada over to Mammoth Lakes is 26. And we had one at Silver Springs. It's actually out by Lake Lahontan. 0.8. San Andreas Fault Line only had 4 today. Yesterday there was like 15, I think. 2.4 is the largest one at Parkfield. Geysers is up. 68 at the geysers today. That's 2 or 3 times the number they normally have. So I don't know what's going on there. Northern California 1.8 at Petrolia, and a 2.1 Shasta Lake. It's right in the center of the lake and not too far from the dam. Let's see if we can zoom in here and see. We'll have to look on USGS, but here it is. Looks like it's on the road too. Pacific Northwest over to Yellowstone has 13 today. Oklahoma had 3 today. The largest was a 2.5 at Quinton. We've got 3 in the New Madrid zone at Ridgely, Tennessee, 1.9, 2.1, and 2.5. Here's one on this western edge of Virginia, 2.4 at Dante. Here in Canada, northwest of Ottawa, 2.2, Constance Bay. Puerto Rico showing 8 today. Look at these. We've got 5 in this picture all along this Cocos Plate. 5.4 was the largest one. New Concepcion, Guatemala. Then 4.1, 4.7, 4.4, and 4.2. South America only had 1, a 4.9 at Pucara, Peru. So only 1 in South America today, 4.9 at Pucara, Peru. Here is the 5.0 at the South Sandwich Islands region. This is in the South Atlantic. Here's South America, and here's this western peninsula tip of the Antarctic. Hawaii has 23 today. The largest was a 3.7 on the flank of Kilauea, and we can see the movement spread all the way down Pahala and then around Mauna Loa. Alaska's showing 70 today. We've got 4 in the South Pacific, 4.6 and 4.6 at Kermadec Islands, 5.0 Solomon Islands, and a 4.3 near the Fiji Islands. This one was 551 kilometers deep. So that'll cause plate movement around the planet. Here in the Southwest Pacific, we've got 4.6 Santa Monica, Philippines, 5.2 Tomohon, Indonesia, and a 4.4 near Nago, Japan. Here's one on land in Japan, a 4.2 near Dago. Now that's pretty far south of Fukushima. Here's Fukushima. So it's not right at it. It's a ways from it. Here is our 4.0 at Tiksi, Russia. Here's the Laptev Sea. Here's the Taimyr Peninsula. Here's Serenai Zemlya. And here's the plate line. Tectonic plate line running right through here. We see earthquakes here pretty often. This came in last night at 9:28 p.m. Pacific time. We've got 2 in this picture, a 4.3 at Jiangyao, China, and a 4.3 at Ashkasham, Afghanistan. We've got 2 in this picture. We've got a 4.4 near Tsaritsani, Greece, and then 4.5 off the coast of Somalia. Somalia. See, right on that red line. Then we've got a 5.0 here in the Indian Ocean on the red line, Chagos Archipelago region. So, that's a lot of movement. Lots of movement there. Now looking at the map, at the website, look at this. This just came in. This is right where I showed the 4.5 of 5.5 near Bosaso, Somalia. See? It's right here in the water. This is Somalia here. This is Somaliland. So here's Yemen. We've got a lot of plate movement. See what else. Since I was so late taking the pictures, we probably don't have much else new. Oh, I missed this one in Texas. 2.7 Fowlerton. This came in at 10:17 this morning. Let's see. 4.0. It's Tapa, Guatemala. That one's new. So, I was going to look at Mount Shasta and see where the dam is. Oh, the dam's down here. So looks like it was right next to the road. It was in the water. 2.1. That probably didn't do any damage, but I always get nervous when I see earthquakes in the middle of reservoirs. That always makes me nervous. Those dams and reservoirs are just a disaster waiting to happen. So, if you want to see how many we had all week, 7 days, all magnitudes, 2,720 this week. That's what happened this week. Lots of movement. So that was my research that I had to share with you tonight. And I always like to bring the shows back to a spiritual perspective. And I do believe we are in the end times, and we need to be preparing for the end times, and preparing for spiritually for our end, and also to be ready to be judged and to meet Jesus and whatever's going to happen. So I'm reading out of 2 Corinthians. These are Paul's letters to the Corinthians. 2 Corinthians chapter 11. Would to God ye could bear with me a little in my folly, and indeed bear with me. For I am jealous over you with godly jealous. For I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Christ. But I fear, lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, that your minds should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Christ. For if he that cometh preacheth another Jesus, whom we have not preached, or if ye receive another Spirit, which ye have not received, or another gospel, which ye have not accepted, ye might well bear with him. But I suppose I was not a whit behind the very chiefest apostles. But though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge, but we have been throughly made manifest among you in all things. Have I committed an offense in abasing myself, that ye might be exalted, because I have preached to you the gospel of God freely? I robbed other churches, taking wages of them to do you service, and when I was present with you, and wanted, I was chargeable to no man, for that which was lacking to me the brethren which came from Macedonia supplied, and in all things I have kept myself from being burdensome unto you, and so will I keep myself. As the truth of Christ is in me, no man shall stop me of this boasting in the regions of Achaia. Wherefore, because I love you not, God knoweth, but what I do, that I will do, that I may cut off occasion from them which desire occasion, that wherein they glory, they may be found even as we. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. I say again, let no man think me a fool. If otherwise, yet as a fool receive me, that I may boast myself a little. That which I speak it not after the Lord, but as it were foolishly, in this confidence of boasting. Seeing that many glory after the flesh, I will glory also. For ye suffer fools gladly, seeing ye yourselves are wise. For ye suffer, if a man bring you into bondage, if a man devour you, if a man take of you, if a man exalt himself, if a man smite you on the face. I speak as concerning reproach, as though we had been weak. Howbeit whereinsoever any is bold, I speak foolishly, I am bold also. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they the seed of Abraham? So am I. Are they ministers of Christ? I speak as a fool. I am more, in labors more abundant, in stripes above measure, in prisons more frequent, in deaths oft. Of the Jews 5 times received I 40 stripes, save one. Thrice was I beaten with rods, once was I stoned, thrice I suffered shipwreck. A night and a day I have been in the deep, in journeyings often, in perils of waters, in perils of robbers, in perils by mine own countrymen, in perils by the heathen, in perils in the city, in perils in the wilderness, in perils in the sea, in perils among false brethren, in weariness and painfulness, in watchings often, in hunger and thirst, in fastings often, in cold and nakedness. Beside those things that are without, that which cometh upon me daily, the care of all the churches. Who is weak, and I am not weak? Who is offended, and I burn not? If I must needs glory, I will glory of the things which concern mine infirmities. The God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, which is blessed for evermore, knoweth that I lie not. In Damascus the governor under Aretas the king kept the city of the Damascenes with a garrison, desirous to apprehend me. And through a window in a basket was I let down by the wall, and escaped his hands. 2 Corinthians chapter 11. So just like Paul had to go through perilous times, we will and we are going through perilous times. But if we have our faith in Jesus and in God and in His almighty power, we'll be okay. And just let God take charge. Let God take charge. It's hard to do when you don't want to let go of control. It's hard to say, God, let your will be done. Show me what you want me to do today, and then help me get through the day so that I can do your will. One more day until it's time to go. So if you haven't given your life to Jesus Christ, I highly recommend that you do it now. So I love you all. I hope everyone has a good week. And until next time, God bless you. Go in peace, and I will talk to you soon. Good night.